Hey friends, it's me, Just Tamika. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it is the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First off, it's free. Did I say that? Yes, you heard it. It's free. And there are many creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. So there's no need to rush out and buy any unnecessary equipment. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many others. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Yes, you heard me. No minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast, all in one place. So go ahead and download the Anchor app today. Go to anchor.fm to get started. And can't wait to hear your first podcast. Good evening, friends. Welcome to another episode of Just Tamika. We have a real treat in store for you today as we talk with Brother Patrick Martin. Patrick is a youth leader at Eastside Church of God in Christ. He's an advocate and a change maker. He is responsible for the creation of a nonprofit called the Patrick Martin Foundation that gives scholarships and finds other creative ways of giving back to the youth. Patrick is also running for Area 2 of the school board in his district in the hometown of Stockton, California. He talks to us today about many things and many challenges of being a young Christian today. He speaks on fatherhood, on the importance of a prayer life, and the importance of just taking care of your mental health. So join us today, and I hope that you enjoy as much as I did speaking with him and gleaning from his words of wisdom. Good evening, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Just Tamika. We have with us today a young man by the name of Patrick Martin out of Stockton, California. And oh, what a passion he has for young people. He is someone that I am godly proud to know. He's a very passionate and caring person, someone that I admire and I appreciate. And he happens to be running for the position of Stockton Unified board member in District Number 2. So if you guys see that name, it's good stuff associated with it. But I will let him go ahead and tell you a little bit about himself. So go ahead, Brother Patrick.
How's everybody doing? My name is Patrick Martin, and I'm running for Area 2 School Board District. And I'm very excited about this opportunity because I never saw it coming. I grew up in, a poverty-stricken neighborhood, and I've seen a lot of my friends go to jail. I've seen a lot of my friends get into a lot of trouble. And, eventually later down the line, I got in trouble, and I've learned and grown, matured over the years. And I'm very excited to be in this position to give back and bring resources to my community and just be a part of something big into making change. So I'm excited.
Yes, and I know that this is not your first introduction to the field of politics. I know that you were very integral in helping to work on Brother Michael Tubbs's campaign, and he's done a lot of good things for the city. I know that you are someone who cares about people and wants to make sure that everybody has access to what they need.
Right.
You are also someone who has started a foundation. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. The Patrick Martin Foundation. It's a foundation that was long overdue. I had thought about it years ago, and I said, okay, it's time to get to work on it.
Okay.
I wanted to bring resources to our children in the Southside community. We have a scholarship foundation within the foundation, and we also have programs that we're starting, such as an etiquette course for young men.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so we show them how to tie ties and how to. We take them to get fitted for suits.
Very nice.
And how to conduct themselves, etiquettes, how to treat women, teach them about the importance of education and growing from a boy to a man. And we're trying to plan on after they finish doing like the coursework, community work and things like that. We're trying to take them on a trip to Hawaii.
Oh, where they get to practice skills.
Yeah.
Very
So we get
nice.
to try
Very
to take
nice.
them to Hawaii at the end of everything.
Okay.
And how cool would it be, if you know, a 9 year old child says, "Hey, like I'm doing this with this foundation, and look, we're going to Hawaii."
Right. That would be
Especially out of
awesome.
our neighborhood, you don't see that.
How does somebody connect to the foundation? Like, how do they? Is there a website? Where are the access points?
Um, you can go to Patrick. Sorry, you can go to patrick.martinfoundation.org, and
Okay.
everything's on there. We have a lot of information on there. We have apparel coming, you know, and
Nice.
we've connected with even Howard University because
Very
we
nice.
want a lot of our minority students to go to these HBCUs,
Hmm.
with better opportunities.
It's a really good way to interrupt the cradle to prison pipeline
Hmm.
because education is the way.
Right,
If kids know and realize that, okay, I don't have to go this way, and
right.
that I think for a lot of our young kids, especially, college is not on the radar because they feel like they can't go. And
Hmm.
then I love that you're out there telling them that if you want to go, if you have the desire, there's a way.
Right.
And so I think that's amazing.
We talk about, there's a saying where they say like college isn't for everybody.
Hmm.
College is for everybody
I agree.
if you apply yourself and taking advantage of the opportunity, because you can be whatever you want to be. However, you have to educate
Hmm.
yourself. You have to get that knowledge. And I didn't take school serious when I was younger because I almost didn't graduate
Well, a lot
high
of us, I
school.
think, yeah.
like I was smart, and I was even in the IB program, for a
I
minute, and
believe
then I
it.
got
Yeah.
out, and I said, man, I got into other stuff, and you know,
So what? Because I think a lot of our, especially our men, a lot of
mhm,
them are there where you're not really school's not on your radar. You just
right.
going through the motions. For you, what made it click? What made you figure out that okay, I better get this together?
um, it was probably when I started to work with Tubbs,
Okay.
and honestly, I wouldn't be exactly where I'm at without his help. Now, I was always doing things within the community,
Yes.
since I was about probably like 15,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't take it as serious until I started to see what he was doing. And I said, oh, like this, when he asked me to be a part of his campaign, I said, I'm not doing that. That's corny. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to do that, because I'm like the cool dude. So,
Right.
so I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, but I want to do it in a different way and not like that. So when he asked me to be a part of his campaign for the councilman, I seen what he was doing. It was exciting to me. It was interesting. And I said, okay, let me try it. And after working with him, I said, okay, I want to go further and I want to do more, and take it to a whole nother level.
Okay. And I think sometimes that is important for young people. We have to see ourselves
Mm-hmm.
in things before we gravitate towards it. We have to see ourselves doing things. And I think when you see someone that looks like you,
Mm-hmm.
sounds like you, maybe had humble beginnings like you, then it's like, oh, well, I can do that too. Or I
Right.
can't, especially you, like you said, being the cool guy, you know how to connect with those kids
Mm-hmm.
that are in that space versus, because not everybody's going to take the same approach and not everybody's going to be like a Poindexter or on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know how else to say it, but and there's different strokes for different folks, and I think that that's part of what makes you a powerful connection to
Mm-hmm.
the young community because I watch how you work with the kids at Eastside.
Mm-hmm.
Those kids love you, they respect you, and yeah, sometimes you have to be firm and help them stay in line, but you
Yeah.
have to know how to do that.
Right.
Not everybody can do that. You have to have a connection with kids before you can correct them. You can't just walk up to some kid that you don't know and start yelling at them because they're going to
Right.
shut down. And so that's I will say I am grateful for the work that you do, not only through the foundation, but also at Eastside, just impacting lives daily because you also are the youth director at
Right.
Eastside, a Church of God in Christ. So, those kids really do. You keep them busy, you keep them
Mm-hmm.
engaged and involved. And I think that you do an amazing job. And I've heard
Thank you.
feedback that matches that.
We
Are there ways that you can tie these things together, or do you do that sometimes?
um conflict of interest on certain parts.
Okay, so there's some
So
things that
like
you aren't able to.
some things we are not able to do.
Okay.
We don't want to get a fine
This is
for
true.
one. and we
When you
don't.
don't want to hinder progress, so I get that. Yeah, you got the wheels moving. You don't want to.
If I'm doing a foundation event, no way, shape, or form can I talk about my campaign.
Okay.
No way, shape, or form. Now, if I'm on a campaign, I could easily throw out hey, y'all check out the Patrick Martin Foundation. Not saying it's me, but
right.
Another thing is I feel like it's like kids nowadays don't understand how it's okay. It's cool to be smart.
It is.
It's not cool to go to jail. You don't. It's not cool to go to jail. It's not cool to be in the streets. Because at the end of the day, when you get caught up, nobody's there.
Right.
Nobody's there.
All those people you was trying to run with, all those
they're
people.
gone. They're doing their thing. And I try to tell a lot of children, like, man, it's cool to be smart. It's cool to handle your business. It's cool to not. You don't have to always wear Jordans. You don't have to follow suit with everybody else. You create your own lane. And even with my situation, doing this foundation and running for having a campaign, I'm not competing with anybody. Like, I'm in my own lane. I'm doing what I want to do for my community, what I feel like is right. Even other candidates, I'm not going against them. I'm spreading love to them, even the people that are in the seats.
Because there's room at the table for everybody.
Well, they don't see it that way, but
true. And in politics, rarely, right? It's all about.
I'm showing love to everybody. I'm praying for everybody because that's what we need. Even if I don't get it, I'm still going to do what I'm doing now and spread love and positivity to my community.
I wanted to ask you too, because there was something that you shared before. It was at Eastside. It was during a church service, and I hope that you're okay talking about it now.
Okay.
But I really want you to talk, because my background is mental health, and so wherever I can, I make those connections. And I know that we all are in a place coming out of this pandemic with fears rising that we might be, going back to where numbers are rising and things like that. And then we got the wildfires, all these things takes a toll on a person's mental health. Right. So what I'm asking you as a young man, what are some ways that you could be with yourself, but your peer group too? What are some ways that you see stress, anxiety, mental stressors affecting maybe your age group, and what are some things that you found helpful, or that you can direct them to connect to? What has helped you as a young man who's had to deal with real life stuff?
Seeking therapy.
Okay. All right, hallelujah, amen. So I can't tell you as a Black practitioner how often I hear Black people go to church, Black people go to Jesus. No. Yes, but Jesus gave you doctors, He gave you psychiatrists, He gave you therapists, He gave you all these tools.
Now, we sort of get confused with that.
Okay.
There's no issue praying, having faith. There's no issue with that. That's part of the process. Right. You have to have that. But you also have to have somebody to go talk to that's, trained, and you do that, and then you continue to pray and seek God, while you're seeking mental health.
I'm so glad to hear you say this. I've been saying it for a long time. I think with my clients, the conversation comes up of, we call it pray and. Because yes, you're right. You have to pray. You have to stay connected. You do have to seek God, but there's and I think about our own pastor who talks a lot about when God tells people to do things. When He healed them, He had them to do something too. Right. So it was, you're healed, take up your bed, or you go and wash, or go and do this. And so I think that that's part of it, is because we are part of the process. God has put healing in us, but we have to do something to retrieve it, to accept it and receive it. And so it is so refreshing to hear somebody say that. Yay, somebody gets it. They really do.
Because I feel like minorities, especially as a whole, not even just African Americans, but Hispanics and Asians. We're not taught to go spread our business to somebody who we don't know, and they don't know you. I can tell you what's wrong with you. No, you can't. You don't know me. Right. You don't even want to hear me. And we don't hear each other. We talk at each other, but we don't hear each other.
And I think there are certain things that shut us down. I know in our own culture that, and also I think in Hispanic culture culture and some of the other cultures I've encountered, it is seen as a weakness to say that you're depressed. Depression is something people think of as just snap out of it. You can't snap out of it. No, it doesn't work that way.
Sorry, I mean,
no.
I definitely, I fell into depression when my father passed.
I can see that.
And I went through probably one of the worst times of my life, in 2017. It seemed like bad things were just happening. And I was so angry and depressed. And I used to say, depression isn't real.
Yes, that's I've heard that. Real. I've heard that.
That's crazy. It's just a mind thing.
And I think we don't have the words for it a lot of times too.
Right. And that's when I had to make a real decision with myself. I had to really look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what, you're tripping. You need help. And it's not embarrassing to say, I just told a group of boys this. It's not bad to say, I need help.
Right.
I need to go get therapy, because you will realize and see how happier you are once you go get some help and be real with yourself,
Thank you. I think that's a very important message. And I think too, a lot of times people get stuck right there, or I get people to sit down in front of me. Well, I'm not crazy, and I know you're not crazy because you're here. I think crazy is not accepting help. Crazy is trying to figure this out on your own when you already like, I can't do it. So let somebody help you.
Right.
We are helpers one to another, and I think that's really important. And then, I know that we're running close to time, but I wanted you to talk a little bit more about two things, because you're a single dad, which props to you. And I can say that you are an excellent father. And this is, I'm not blowing him up. He really is a really good father. Patrick, I have seen you with your daughter. You spend time. You make sure that she has what she needs. You have parameters around her. You keep her safe by, having discipline. But you're not mean either. You're loving and caring towards her. And I absolutely love that. I'm so proud of the young man that you are. I really am. And I'm grateful to just see you flourish and to grow and to thrive. And you're doing a good job. You just, keep up. But and I know because I was a single mom that there are certain struggles that the rest of the world doesn't see and takes for granted when you are a single parent. I'm familiar with the female perspective. Can you talk a little bit more about what that's like as a young man?
It's a lot. It's
a lot. Yeah, I can see that.
Really just trying to be the best that you can, because you have to go to work. You honestly have to figure things out, when it comes to being a single parent and being a father. When you're dealing with the other parent, somebody has to be the adult,
right?
And you have to try your hardest, even when you all don't see eye to eye. You have to try your hardest to be very respectful to each other and be level-headed, because one parent's not going to do what you like. One parent's not going to do what you do.
Right.
You have to respect the other parent, and I think that's one thing that me and my daughter's mother have come to. We've grown over the years,
and it takes growth, right? It's not something that comes out of the box and you've got it figured out, because nobody expects to be co-parents. It's when you get together, you're thinking, this is a forever thing, and things don't always go that way. And then you have to figure out, okay, what makes sense. And I think what you two do well is keeping in mind what's best for your daughter. Because what you want is not always what's best, and fighting is not going to be the best thing. And so that's a lot of wisdom in this young body. It took me a while to figure that out.
Because at first it's not easy, because there's still a lot of hurt from the breakup.
Yes,
it's a lot of hurt.
And it's a grieving process. A lot of people don't realize that somebody doesn't have to die for it to be grief. A loss of anything, you can really, and I think you should grieve it. It's healthier.
Like I definitely didn't want a co-parenting situation. I didn't want to lose what I had, but I knew it was not where I needed to be anymore. And I knew it wasn't a situation healthy for me, my daughter's mother, or my daughter.
Right.
It just wasn't a healthy situation.
And that's a hard decision to come to.
but you have to be adult enough to say, hey, let's try something else.
Right on.
Let's figure it out. So, and my daughter was actually one of the main reasons why I went to go get therapy.
Good.
You know, you want to do it because you want to raise your child right.
Right.
With a good mentor.
Right.
You know? So you know, it's a lot, but it's fun. It's tiring sometimes. It's an extra job, but it's fun. I love it. You know, we do activities. You know, I think I'm a pretty cool dad.
You know what? I can sign off on that. I think so too.
Yeah, so you know, I love it.
Right on. And then the last question I have is, what would you want the biggest message or takeaway to be from people listening to this today?
Don't give up on yourself.
Okay.
No matter your situation, no matter what you've been through, forgive yourself. Ask God for forgiveness.
That one's huge.
Forgive yourself.
Yes.
Anybody that you've hurt, ask them for forgiveness and move on.
And I don't know if you can see my little sign up there, but it says forgiveness is unlocking the door to set someone free and realizing that you were the prisoner.
Right.
And so, I mean, sometimes it's like that.
Yeah, you know, believe in yourself, and you know, I always say double down on yourself.
Yeah, right.
You know,
you gotta make those bets on yourself sometimes.
And you know, it's okay to fail as long as you learn.
Exactly.
A loss isn't a loss; it's a lesson.
So I have another little saying over here. It has a picture of a man with a ball and chain. I can't draw, so I drew a stick figure. And the ball and chain says past. And it says never be a prisoner of your past. It was just a lesson, not a life sentence. And so we have to learn to let go of that.
Wow, we are in sync.
See?
I didn't even pay attention to him. So we are in sync. And I love it.
Yeah. I like having little messages to remind me. And when I see another good one, I'll like erase this. And you see, I have a blank chalkboard over there.
It's another one's coming. Like I post positive affirmations on my Instagram account.
Would you like to give out your Instagram so that people can follow you?
We could do Patrick Martin Foundation.
Okay.
And we could do Patrick Martin for SUSD.
Okay.
Yes.
So those are the two Instagram accounts to follow. I want to thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. I'm excited. This was great.
I'm definitely I can come back
anytime.
I love this.
Yes, you have an open door. So I want to thank all our listeners today, and as always, I'm Jess Tamika. Have a great day.